Hello and welcome back to I Will Break Your Game featuring the Talos Principle, after a little bit of a hiatus. This episode took a fair bit longer to upload than I originally hoped for a couple of reasons, but I'm back. I am not going to let this series finish before we reach the end of the Talos Principle because we're getting very close now. So, to begin with this break, this might look a little bit familiar as this is actually part of the solution to getting the start on this level, but that break also allows us to get to the sigil. The idea here is to begin recording, pick up the platform, go to the bottom of the stairs and wait for a little while, and then stand on the box that we placed over here, and stand there for a little while. Now, when your recording goes down to the bottom of the stairs, you can place the box on him, and then stand on the box. Then when he goes over to the statue, we're going to jump to the top of the statue from where we are, turn around and take the box with us, and come over this fence. So here's the star, but if we deactivate the fan here, and then place the box on top of the small platform, once the recorded fan has also stopped, we can jump over this wall and grab the sigil. In today's episode, we're actually going to be doing something that I haven't done since, I think maybe episode 2 or 3 right at the start of the series, but this level and the next one were both fairly short ones to actually complete. So I'm going to do 2 in a single episode, which is hopefully a little bit of a bonus for waiting for this episode to come out. We're going to start by grabbing this box and bringing it back to the beginning of the level. This is quite a nice one to break, it's fairly easy. You want to put the box on top of this tree stump. It can be a little bit tricky to get it to not roll off, but once you manage to get the box to stay on the tree stump, then you can head backwards onto some rubble, and you should be able to get a jump prompt, and then from there you can get onto the wall and grab the sigil. The next break is definitely at least partially intended because it's actually part of the way that you get to the Easter egg, which is the one you saw right at the start, over the title of this episode. We're going to start by going up the ladder and dropping down into this chamber with the 2 cubes, and doing what I do here, we can get both cubes out of that room. Place one on the button, and place one over by the wall over here. We're going to use the same trick as we did in the first puzzle and stand on top of that cube during the recording. So take the platform. We're going to stand over here first of all. This is where we'll be while you're placing 2 cubes on top of the platform. And then once we're done there, we're going to head over and stand on top of this box and wait here for a little while to give you enough time to take both cubes back off the platform. Then head back over, stop the recording. So go and grab the first cube, bring it round and put it on top of the platform. And you can do this with the second cube as well. Because we're recording, a cube will be left on the button so the fizzler won't close behind you. Once we have this little stack of 2 cubes, you can jump on top of it and wait for your recording to go over to the cube by the wall. Once here, get onto the wall, take both boxes off the platform, and bring one with you here. We're going to place this just on this part of the wall so we can use it as a step to get up to the higher part. Bring the second cube along with you and get onto this part. Now we can get over to this turret here and place the cube down. There are some weird kind of glitches as you try and jump between here and the box. So the video might look weird, that's not actually jump cutting, the game just kind of does that sometimes. Finally, we can bring the cube here, put it down just for a little bit of extra elevation, and then jump over to the sigil. I'm not sure if the cube is necessarily required for that jump, but it does make it a little bit easier, so there's no harm bringing it along. Again, you can see that strange kind of almost jump cutting there. So bring this box back with you, and this time we're going to go out of bounds. Stay close to the wall because I don't think you have to wander very far in order to go completely out of the level and get reset by Elohim. Next you can follow these rocks along, get on top of this wall. Again, you can use the cube as a step here. Make sure to turn it around and bring it with you though. And again, we're going to do another jump off the box for a little bit of extra height, and even though this looks like quite a distance, this is actually fairly easily jumpable from here down into the sigil chamber. And that's C2 complete, fairly painlessly really. It's actually probably some of the easier breaks in Talos. And now we enter C3. So a little bit of I Will Break Your Game trivia for you. This is the first level I've managed to do without needing any editing whatsoever. This is actually, I managed to do it in a single take, so I was quite happy with that. We're going to begin to complete this level, and actually we'll be completing most of this level with the standard solution. So we're going to start by opening the first 2 fizzlers with these lasers. We'll bring this box through with us for later. The idea is to again get, as with many other puzzles, get a stack of 2 cubes to jump onto from some slightly raised ground, and then from there we can get straight to the sigil. We're going to use this third splitter here in such a way that it makes the second splitter redundant, and then go back and collect the second splitter. We can now use this to open the next fizzler. So link it to the third splitter, and then to the next fizzler. Next, nice and simple, we can take this jammer, jam the fizzler, and bring through the second box, and that is as far as we need to go with the standard solution to this puzzle. Bring this box all the way back through. We're going to just leave it round this corner with the other one for now. We also want to bring 2 splitters through with us to plan forward for breaking another puzzle, but it's important which 2 you take. You're going to go all the way back through and take the third splitter, but we're not going to take the second splitter because that will cause the fizzler to close behind us. So we're going to take the first splitter. We'll leave these just over here for now, and the final thing we need to do for a couple of reasons is to take this fan off the button. This closes the fizzler, which is very important, and we're also going to actually use the fan in order to break another puzzle. So we'll rejoin that in a second. At the moment we're just going to stack these boxes up roughly around this tree, and then if you stand back far enough you can get a jump prompt, and nice and easily you can get up here and grab the sigil. Now if you stand very close to the edge of this platform, you should actually be able to grab the top box in that stack, and then you can use this to get out of this level. So don't do what I do, because you need to take the cube with you and I completely forgot. So grab the cube, and then we're going to follow this wall all the way to the end of the level. There's a fence just under here, so make sure you jump over that. The fizzler is closed, which means you can run straight along the top of that fizzler. And now you can follow this wall fairly easily right to the end. There's some spiky logs which is making up the wall here, which look like you might not be able to jump on them, but they appear to have pretty much the same collision as the non-spiky walls, so you're fine to jump on those. Now we can take the box over to this corner here on top of the stones, jump on top of the box, and this is the sigil chamber for one of the other puzzles. The fence conveniently opens for us, which means I didn't have to redo a take because I was trapped in that room. So run back into the puzzle that we were breaking, and what we're going to do is get one of the splitters on top of this fan here. So first of all, link a splitter to the laser and put it on the box, and then use the other splitter to activate the fan. Next we're going to head up to this puzzle at the top of the hill here, which is also going to help us break the final puzzle on this level. So we're actually including 2 other puzzles in order to break a third one, which is probably one of the most convoluted ways of breaking a puzzle so far. We're going to use the fizzler there, or jam the fizzler with the jammer, take the splitter out and use it to grab the first cube. Now this cube will allow us to take the jammer out of its chamber here, and then we can use that to grab the second cube. And once again we're going to use the classic 2 cube stack and jump on top of it in order to get, if you want, a star. There's a star just around here, but more importantly for us, the sigil. You have to stand quite far away from that stack of cubes to get on top of it. Sometimes it just altogether won't work. Trying to get it fairly close to the edge is helpful, and also trying to get it tilted is quite helpful. Again, we would be trapped in here, but there's a gate that opens for us, which is nice. And before we leave this puzzle, not forgetting to help break the final puzzle, we're going to take this splitter and use it to link to the splitter that we have floating in the air over in that puzzle. And we're just going to put it in front of that purple fizzler there. Now finally, we're going to head over the rather precarious looking bridge to the final puzzle. First of all, we're going to take this fan and use it to open up a fizzler chamber and grab a cube. You can really, I think, pretty much grab any of the cubes on this level. We're going to need 2 cubes, but I think there's others that you can also collect. But if not, then take the 2 that I'm using. We're going to take the cube that we've just got over to this fan and button over here. We need to actually put a fan on top of the gears because there isn't one on there yet. And then you can place a cube on that fan. Go back and grab our second cube. And then we're going to go and stand on top of the first cube that we placed on the fan. And then while we're on top of it, place the other cube onto the button and activate the fan. Now we can grab the splitter from up here. We need to link that splitter to the one right over at the other side of the level, but first of all we need to put a box on that button. Activating the button itself isn't the important part, but it's perfectly in line with the the level over at the other side, so it's just a nice way of judging where we need to actually put the splitter. And then we can grab the final sigil, and that is C3 complete. Thank you very much for watching this episode of I Will Break Your Game.